Good evening. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. So, I've seen yesterday a new box pop up on Hack the Box that's already retired and it didn't go through the normal process. It's called Barrier. It only has at the moment 17 user flag solves and 17 root solves, so I'm quite curious to see what this one is all about. So I'll be doing that one tonight. Hey Simbad. So just booting up the machine now. Let's in the meantime create our folder structure as usual. Anyone looking forward to Monday? Or is that just a silly question? Yeah, I know, Science, I know. Seems like the weekends are way too short. But at least we still have... Simbad, seems like you're having a good day tomorrow then. I'm back to work. Come on, Hack the Box. There we go. We have an IP address now. $80, 90,000, 22. So 80, and 90,000, that for me sounds like HTTP, so I'm gonna start burp in the meantime while that finishes the scan. Okay. Yeah, as I said, HTTP, HTTP, Oh, Golang server and an Apache Tomcat. Does it actually respond from a host or just... That is interesting. Authentik. Let's take a screenshot of that. Oh, and we have 80 and 443 as well. I wonder why those two ports. Yeah, so it's a standalone machine, but it went straight into the retired section for some reason. It didn't go through the normal process of being released on a Saturday and then showing up in retired afterwards. It went straight into the retired section. But from what I can see, you do need VIP Plus to be able to access it. Okay, so it's a Vuln Lab machine. Thanks, Simbad. I didn't know about that. So they're still releasing machines from Vuln. They haven't added everything yet. Okay, that's good to know. So we have two HTTP ports here. Let's do brute force on the Tomcat and Authentik to see, but I'll start with Tomcat and then move to the other one. User share word list, sec lists, discovery, web content, and I need the IP address. Nope, no, because that's on port 80. We'll do that as well. What I want. So we have manager, which is a default Tomcat application. See. Support 80. Oh, this is interesting. So we do have a name. Let's add that to our host file. Oh. So we have GitLab barrier.vl. Let's keep that one open because I'm gonna run a subdomain scanner as well. But we do seem to have a GitLab instance here. So we have manager and host manager. Okay. Not very interesting. So this is also that application Authentik, which I know nothing about, so we're gonna have to figure that one together. Okay. Let's run a subdomain scanner as well. I want, actually, let's add that one as well. And just do while that's running, let's investigate the GitLab instance. So it's HTTP GitLab, and it's redirecting. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we don't have a username and a password, but we can register for one. Okay. Now, what password did I use? Why didn't it? For some reason, it didn't register any of my traffic. Let's add the hostname as well. Okay, and let's do this again. Hopefully this time it will. There we go. At least now we're getting the traffic. Test one. Okay. So we don't have the account activated. Single sign-on. Oh, it's taking us to Authentik. Okay. So Authentik is a single sign-on application. Good to know. I did enter the correct password. Yeah. Maybe the account is not active yet. Okay, let's see. Did we find anything else? Did I not write the... I did. Okay. So we have port 80, port 443. Okay. Let's see any repos. Okay, so we don't actually need an account to access. There are some repositories here. And we have a user as well. But let's have a look at the repository. Git connect. So this seems to be using the GitLab API, but the password is removed. Are there any other commits that we can see? History. And we have a password. So let's copy the username and password and add it to... There we go. Sign in. And it works. Any other repositories? No, it doesn't seem like it. So there are no access tokens here. Can we create a new repository? Actually, no, I just want to test. Okay, so we can actually create a new repository. Let's have a look in our proxy history. Just trying to see if there are any other users or anything that we can use. Actually, what we didn't check is if the password works for SSH, because there is an SSH port open as well. Barrier.vl. Okay, so it's only accepting SSH keys apparently. No password authentication. Can we log in through SSO? Does the same user allow us to do SSO? Let's see. Yes. So basically we can use the SSO to log in as well. And there's a guacamole application. Let's go to GitLab. Okay, so we don't see anything else through SSO. Let's see if guacamole has anything. No. Settings. Nothing here. I was hoping for it to have a connection to some other machine, but apparently it does not. I don't know anything about this application though, about Authentik, so let me see. Yeah. There we go. So now we actually have all the traffic there. So there's a MySQL service backing the application. But I'm more interested in finding out more information about this application itself. Is there a version or anything showing? No. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking to see what the application actually does, and then I'll start looking for some CVs for it as well. It seems to be actively developed, so that's good. We have another user, aka admin. That's good to know. Let's have a look. CV. Oh, we have an appearance from Alhaz Red. Hello, and thanks for the follow. Let's have a look. So we're doing Barrier from Hack the Box, Al, and we found some SSO application. We have a GitLab instance where we recovered some credentials, and we have an Apache Guacamole that we're working with at the moment. I'm just looking for some CVEs on the SSO. From But we need to find out the version of Authentik that we have, don't we? Before we can attach any CVs to it. What? Okay, so we do have authentication credentials. Change request method. Nope. Okay. Let's grab a recent request then. Core applications. Right, where's the GitHub? Can we search for version? And see if there's an endpoint that will give us the version. Nope. I'm trying to find some roots or anything of that sort that would help me detect the version. Actually, does it have a docs file? websites. Documentation and search for API. I wonder if we have access to see this information as a normal user. Yes. So we do have a version. So it's 24.10.5, and we had that CV that allowed RCE. And the 24 is actually, it might be vulnerable because it falls in between those two versions. Interesting. Let's see, is there a POC for this? I'm not looking for Joomla. Nope, that's not the correct one. Okay. But we don't have any of those permissions, do we? Okay, let's keep looking. We know now there's also another user here. There's AK admin. So let's have a look at other CVs that we have in here. that could be useful to basically try what I'm looking for is to try to force Authentik to get us into GitLab as AK admin if possible. So that would be an this is what we need. So it's bypassing password login. And this should, in theory, sign us into GitLab as AK admin. So let's have a look at this CV. So it might not be affected by this because we have 2410 as the version. Yeah, so we're not impacted by that. Next. No, those are too old. Yeah, let's see. What version of guacamole? Target, which is this one. Does it say? No, we don't have any details here. Actually, can this one help? No. Well, we can have a look. Let me see if I can find the version. One 154 is the guacamole version. Does exploit DB have anything? No. So, yeah, the version of Guacamole is 154. I don't think. Yeah, we don't have any images connected like that. Yeah, that CV is old. I'm not expecting for a box that was probably done in 2024 or something like that to have that CV. But yeah, see, and this one's related. This is 2019, even older. Nope. It's not affecting our package. Let's search for something more specific. That's a good point. We haven't looked at the GitLab version. We looked at Guacamole and we looked at Authentik, but not GitLab. There shouldn't be. There seems to be from 2024. GitLab. No, so help takes us. Oh, good point. 17. So that's the fixed version. Okay, this one's interesting. Is there a POC or anything? But this one only impacting version 18, not 17. So not useful. I'm not looking for DDoS. Maybe cross-site scripting. No, so don't see anything that would help us necessarily except for that cross-site scripting. Let's see if we're vulnerable to that. Why is this one showing me a lot of vulnerabilities for version 18? We're on 17. Is there anything that we've missed? Let's see, because they seem to have some CVs in here as well. The box is from 2024, so let's have a look. Let's take them one by one. So we were working with version 10.5. Fix the issue. Fix the issue. Fixed the issue 24.8. No. Those are all earlier versions that have fixed these issues. Yep. Oh no, this is 23. 10, okay. So the CVs that they've published don't help us in any way. Anything in their repository that might help? Yeah, so this is the one that we were looking at before, but we don't have the correct permissions there. So you mean a bug in GitLab SSO? Let's see. Okay. So our version is impacted. Thank you, Simbad. Let's have a look. So we can bypass the signature verification. Okay, let's see if we can find a... And we have an exploit here. Let's have a look at what it actually does. Okay. So this one seems to basically give us a patched response file that we need to do for SSO. So let's see how this actually works. Okay. Interesting. So let's log out. We do... Is everything captured? Yeah, let's clean the history, SSO. Right. And what details does it actually need? So we need the URL, which is GitLab barrier.vl. Then we need code and variable. SAML response. No. So maybe this is different. Yeah, because we don't actually have those variables in here. But we can. I think that should be an XML, shouldn't it? CyberChef. Maybe I'm not capturing the correct one. So this one, no. So the code that I'm looking at here, it's not a nuclei template. It's just a CV. I think they do have a template to scan for it, but not necessarily to exploit it. The exploit code is actually this one. So let me actually sign out of both applications to capture the flow from the start in here. Clear history. And then do SSO. We do have the credentials here. No. This is the one that we need. Let's see. Because I think it's encrypted, so let's see. We need a URL decode. And then That's still encoded. Yeah, it's not just URL decode, unfortunately, and base 64. Is it gzipped? There we go. It is gzipped. Well, okay, so now we have the request. We need the end to be AKadmin, because that's the user that we want to impersonate. What's the E option? Encode, yeah. So we need it encoded, and we need an output file. So let's clear that. Python 3 exploit encode tag n AKadmin, or I think it's request. Yeah. Response file is request XML tag o batch.xml. Okay. And but I think we need to here. Can we just replace this? I doubt it. I doubt it's gonna still be valid. But let's test. No, it's still our user there. Probably because of the other session. But what we can do is log out. And do proxy intercept. And do single sign-on. Forward. We need the response. Yeah, forward. Yes. We need this one. URL request. Request patched. We need to remove. And there we go. Welcome to GitLab, aka admin. Thank you for the tip there, Simbad. I don't think I would have found that CV without that. So let me just write some notes, because yeah, it's just I was looking for CVs related to Authentik regarding authentication bypass, not to GitLab regarding authentication bypass with SSO. But we now have access to GitLab as AK admin. I think the 4 users are, yeah, my 2 test users and the other one. Projects should be just the 2, yeah. Oh, we have a runner. Let's see. Any jobs? No. So we need this particular tag to run jobs on this runner. Okay. Okay, so we have a token here. Let's see. Okay. Anything in environment? Oh, it's just a token again. Okay. So we can use the runner to get us a shell, basically. We can create a project, create a job for it. Let's see. Let's go back to admin because I haven't copied the tag and the runner is paused. So let's copy that and then we'll look into the okay. Let's start that because it was paused. Let's create a new project. Test one, create. Okay. Script. I just want something simple to test, but we need to tag the job, don't we? No, those are logs. Tags, okay. So that's our tag, and then in here yeah. Okay, so we do, we can execute jobs here. Actually, not really, we cannot, because it fails to fetch the image from Docker registry, so it won't work. Okay. Well, that's a shame. Maybe there are some other images that we can use. Yeah, let's... Does this one have any kind of images requirements? Docker ignore. Anyway, so the runner doesn't work because we don't have images. What other images should there be? I know there's a MySQL server running because Authentik is using MySQL to back the credentials. Can we use how to specify an image? Jobs. Come on. So let's see if we do image MySQL latest. Come on. But we also have that Authentik token that we can use, that we got from the settings. But I'm curious to see what other images there are here, if we have that. Okay, let me close some tabs because I have too much stuff open here. There we go. Okay, so it doesn't want to run anymore. In any case, let's have a look at the authentication token for Authentik. We need the API documentation for it. Perfect. Yeah, it's just I'm gonna use requests, not that. Yep. Okay, and the URL is that. Token is that bit. Headers, and I don't need that. Okay, let's see. Of course. That's one of them. Actually. Authorization there. Okay. Verify SSL. So method not found. Maybe it's where you're working with an older version of the API that doesn't have that. But (9443) API v3 core users. Copy URL and just put that in there. There we go. So we have access to the application, with the token that we got from GitHub. So let me just proxy that through Burp so we can work with it from there. There we go. And now we should see that in the proxy history traffic. There we go. So we see the AK admin user. Oh, that's a new user. And we have our initial user as well. So we are actually an admin on this application as well. So what other functionality do we have? Let's see if we can list applications. So it's v3 admin apps. Policies, flows. Okay. Is there a users that we can create a user or modify a password? So core users we've already done. Core users create. Okay, so we can do a post to core users. Change request method. My thinking is I'll create a user with a password that I know as admin in the application, and then I can log into the UI and see everything from there. So application JSON. But I need core users because I need a group for admin, don't I? And I can get users. So that's the group because this is the admin. roles. I'll need to find out the roles as well. So is super user. And how do you send the password for it? Okay, so we can set the password for the user. But we'll have to do another request afterwards. So after we create the user, we need the ID, and then we can set the password for it. Okay, not a problem. Well, we can remove roles. Let's copy that so we have it in our requests. And this is going to be a password. Now let's see what data we need for this to actually complete. Users create. So username and name are the only ones required, but we can send in the groups as well, the group for admin. And we can set is active to true and remove everything else because we don't need it. And let's see. Core users. Right, so we have our string username. And this is our UUID, which we can use here to set the password to string. Or does it need the PK, which is 36? Let's see. ID int, so it's the 36 is the private key. Okay, and we can now try to log in. And we have an admin interface for Authentik based on username string and password string. Yeah, I know, I'm very creative when it comes to this. Okay. Admin interface. So this is the first user that the newest user that we've seen. So and we have a nice impersonate functionality there. So let's see what we already know that the user doesn't exist in GitLab because we've had admin access into GitLab, but let's see guacamole because we've been working on this box for what, 2 hours now, and we haven't had the shell yet. There we go. Finally a shell on the box. And we have a user key as well. So we have the user flag, but I don't like the fact that I have to do it in here, so let's check. Okay, so we have 2 keys in here. Bash history I see is going to dev null. Okay, so both keys are allowed. Let's just copy one of them. Okay, and we can do how do we specify the algorithm? No, I need a host key, not. Okay. There we go. Right. So we've managed to get a shell as Mackie, and we can now continue our exploration. Let's see. Actually, we can close that because we no longer need it. We don't need that. So there are some Docker containers running. Yeah, as I said, the history file is not our friend. Let's see, serve. Just gonna run linp's and then in the meantime I'm gonna continue with my manual exploration. What is it? Opt. So this is the configuration for Authentik. As I said earlier, the Authentik application actually is using MySQL as a database. So I was testing to see if the root user has a password, but seems like it does. Right. There is also guacamole running, isn't it? So let's see. And Authentik. Let's see if we can get some authentication credentials to MySQL from there or something like that. Let's see, where are they running from? There's also Postgres running. Do we have? No, we don't have access to Docker. It's MariaDB running, but I think that might be in a Docker container as well. Is everything running in a Docker container? Yeah, and Nginx is not present here, so that's running in a Docker container. I don't have a password for him. Is there anything saved in here? No, so it's using an SSH key to connect. Okay, so we don't actually have a password for this user yet, so we cannot do anything around sudo-tacl, but we can keep exploring. So Guacamole is actually installed on the main system. And we have MySQL credentials. So let's see what data we have in here. Yeah, we only have access to one. Actually, I'm gonna do this differently. Walk 2024, okay. MySQL dump. Tag U, walk user, tag B. Walk DB, was it? Yes. Okay, so we don't have lock tables to actually dump the database. Yay! So we need to do it manually. Not a problem. Let me try something. I always forget the syntax for this. Okay. So 23.306 localhost. And now if we do another one, we should be listening on. Yes, good. So I've done a local port forward to that machine's MySQL database because I don't want to do everything through command line, so I'm just gonna connect to it from my local computer. And to do that, what port did I use? Yeah, that's the one. And then we have guac user and guac password, which are here. Okay, so we have some connection requests from some other users as well. And we have another user here, Mackie admin, which we didn't know before. which seems to suggest that this user also has an admin user, which is a different account. Actually, this is quite common to have separate users with different privileges. Well, let's keep looking. What other tables have information? View data. Nothing. Connection attribute. Nothing. 16, 16, 48. Those are default. Connection history seems to be bigger than the standard. Do we have a connection as Mackie ADM? Okay. So we have Mackie ADM, and we seem to have an encrypted RSA. And the passphrase for it. So let's just copy that to ADM, and we can copy the password as well. Excuse me. Creds. Let me check something. Let's see. And we do have a Mackie ADM user. Let me check. Do we need the SSH key, or can we just do sudo? No. Right. This one I don't think I need anymore, so let's just exit from there. Mackie ADM TMP. Okay. So, oh, and apparently we can. Sudo su. No. Sudo tech. Oh. No. Am I not pasting the correct thing there? No, that doesn't work. Okay, doesn't matter, but we still have the Mackie ADM, which seems to have access to sudo. But that password doesn't work for it. Let me take a screenshot of that. So we are in admin group. Oops, admin. Well, that seems to be a custom group. It's not the normal ADM group. Anything else in the database? No. We don't even have access to Docker. Oh, well, we do have a bash history here. Really? Well, I have to say, it was quite an interesting box. Except this bit. I was expecting to have to work a bit more for the root password. Nice box, all in all. Any questions? I think that's about it for tonight. If you guys don't have any questions, then I bid you a very nice end of the weekend, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. On Wednesday I'll start a bit later as well. I'll start at 9 as usual. Today I started at 8, so. And as always, I'll share my notes on the website. And have a good evening. Thank you for watching.